This report is made in English, Danish and Spanish. This is the English version. Hi there and welcome to this quantum physical report, which is about the law of attraction. This will be an introduction to the astrology report, but this time I chose to make it separate for those who only cares about the quantum physical report. I have filmed an area around Ras here in Denmark, which is so incredibly beautiful, which will run in the background. Once you're done with this, you can go to the astrology report, find it on the channel. Where attention goes, energy flows. It's important. That is why satisfaction, the feeling of satisfaction, will take you where you want to go, because then you're in the flow and your channels are open. I want to start by saying that the statement "everything is energy" is the starting point of this quantum physical report. This report is the introduction to the astrology report I publish every 14 days at the new moon and full moon. You can watch it by following the link at the end of the report or go down in the text and follow the link there. This is the quantum physical part I usually put together with the astrology report or edit together with that. But for those who want to separate the two things, you now have the opportunity to see them or watch them separately when it fits into your time schedule. Otherwise, the reports can be too long. The starting point for those who have been following the report or this channel for a short time, or those who have been following it for the 5 years I have been on, is as follows. Everything is energy. The law of attraction works. We create our own reality. We are all like radio transmitters that always send out some kind of frequency. And we receive on the same frequency as we send. So we can only expect to get in return what we send out. This means that if you get mirrored back something you are not crazy about, then you may have a thought pattern running. A blockage that has set in the form of thoughts. A stuck idea that this type of people is such and such, or I always encounter this type of situation in my life, which makes you keep attracting the same type of situation. The starting point is that changing your focus is like tuning in to a radio where you can receive on another channel. So when you are pressured, you can change your focus. By changing your focus, it happens in the physical world as well. Automatically. Step by step, you will change your thought patterns, and if you can keep them on the positive side of the coin, also what you attract in your life. The physical manifestation does not happen the moment you change your focus. It takes a little time before that happens. It also means that the world you see outside of you right now is ancient vibrations that have been manifested. So when you need to manifest something new, you need to focus on the feeling of the vibration you have inside. Fine-tune and calibrate by continuing to focus on something in your life that you are happy with. The feeling of satisfaction and gratitude. But it is primarily about having a sense of anticipation that something good will happen, because you are already so happy with the life you have created for yourself. And this, of course, happens by constantly paying attention to shifting your focus to something you are already happy with and happy about. And satisfied about, I mean. Constantly focus on the most positive feeling you can find. Do not communicate with others about things that matter until you're centered inside. And don't tell the old stories, the old bad stories. Today's report is about positive and negative people. Before we go into this part, I would like to remind you who already know it, this part, and newcomers that there are generally 3 processes in the order of a manifestation or manifestation in general. You do not have to be aware of these processes, but there are those who really benefit from knowing about them this way. There's one of these processes that a particular step in this 3-step process that is really, really, really important to be aware of, and that is the first step. The 3 processes here are inspired by Esther/Abraham Hicks, who actually has 5 processes in her overview. I like the simplicity of having 3, and I have come up with a slightly different way of explaining them, despite the inspiration clearly coming from them. Step 1, Yang energy, yin and yang. In short, step 1, the problem is equal to the activation of the solution. When you have a challenge, a problem, or a so-called contrast. As you can see, 2 of the words are negatively charged words we attribute to these types of situations. In fact, step 1 is the most important step in a change process that lies with a huge potential when something goes so-called wrong. It goes wrong or is problematic. Because this is where you are forced to change if you want to move on and stop feeling that way. As human beings, we often only make the change when situations escalate. Also simply because the vibration isn't activated, the solution isn't activated before the problem also is activated. They get activated simultaneously. As you never see a one-sided coin anywhere, this life is dualistic. So again, step 1, the problem is only a contrast which is strictly tied to the solution, because it's 2 sides of the same story. So when you see a problem, it's a good thing because now the solution is coming. So then step 1 becomes, in the presence of the problem, an automatic and active desire for a change of that which does not work. In doing so, you send out a wish for what you want, because your surroundings so strongly show you what you do not want, that what you want becomes extra clear but also in your vibration, which sends the desire out extra strongly via your focus. So step 1 is actually the activation of a coin that on the one hand reflects exactly what you do not want, and the other side of the coin is exactly what you want. Just to repeat what's so essential. So both things are in the same coin, but in a positive and negative direction, depending on which side you have your focus placed upon. So when you discover you have a problem, the solution is activated simultaneously. This is step 1. A coin cannot be cut in the middle. So when something negative is activated, the positive is always activated simultaneously. Step 1, the problem is equal to the observation of the solution. Step 2, nature takes care of it. Yay! Here I use the word nature rather than divine. So as nature takes care of it, you don't have to do anything but trusting the process, actually. So here, as I said, I use the word nature rather than the divine, or similarly Hicks would use God, perhaps. Or, no, she wouldn't. I don't know what she would use, because our brain understands it better, I believe, when we talk about nature. We have a kind of confidence in the processes of nature, because we see that so many miracles happen all the time in nature. So when there is an imbalance in our body, the body, like nature, seeks to heal it automatically. When there is an imbalance in nature, nature seeks to heal it. It even breaks things down when they are dying. And when they are dead, nature causes them to be broken down, as I said, and something new arises from that breakdown. Or this breakdown. Similarly with people, it's the same process. Step 1 again. Your desire is activated through the certainty of that, or your awareness of that the opposite is also activated simultaneously. And you find that this process starts every time you have a so-called problem or challenge. Our lower self categorizes it as a problem or a contrast at best. Step 2, a higher self is just trusting the process. Step 2 is that when step 1 is activated, nature automatically already starts creating balance and turning the coin to the positive side. Step 3, now you no longer have to actively do anything but be passive and thereby receptive. Thereby it is yin energy. Step 1 is yang energy, step 2 and step 3 are yin energies. Yin energy is something we aren't brought up with in our culture, because our culture is so result oriented. In fact, you should not do anything until, this is what I say. In fact, you should not do anything until you feel inspired to do so. Not outside inspired, but inspired. So you do not act until it comes from within, the inspiration. And it can only come to you so you can hear it if you are also introverted and feel yourself on the inside, so to speak. Simply make sure to constantly take care of being in a nice receptive state. How do you do this? Well, by being happy. Because when you are happy, you're receptive and you have an open heart. By being satisfied, by being quiet and calm in your center, by making room for something new, by not having too much running in your head and mind. Otherwise, how can there be room for any messages or inspiration to come in? Thoughts are what block. So in step 3, you make sure to let go of the thoughts. Therefore, meditation is one of the best solutions ever. You can find a meditation at the end of each program via a link I put in. I've guided several different meditations you can choose from. You can also go to heartfulnessmeditation.dk or cup heartfulness.dk and get free sessions there. Actually, even better for the English, it's heartfulness.com. Just heartfulness.com. It's meditations with transmission. So it's not the same as mindfulness. Via mindfulness, we only get into beta states, whereas with heartfulness, we get all the way down into the delta waves, which are the waves you can measure. We get into in the very deep sleep. However, without sleeping. This has been researched and can be proven. It happens because there is transmission with heartfulness meditation. And heartfulness meditation is based on volunteer work and is free. I myself am trained in India as a volunteer heartfulness preceptor or trainer. Ask me in the comment section if you have any questions on how to get started. We have weekly courses that start every Monday, where you meditate with a trainer for 5 days in a row and get information about what heartfulness meditation is and how it is used in practice. It's also free. And the right word for the state I really want to describe, the state where we are, or the state we are in when we are open, is appreciation. I so appreciate this. Feel into it. It's such a hand on the heart word, if you know what I mean. It expresses how much something means to you. So find anything you can say like that about. I so appreciate this. So focus on what you appreciate in your life. And you will achieve the state required in step 3, where you stop doing something to achieve something, but wait until you get the inspired action from within, not the motivated. It comes easily to you and requires 0 effort. Motivation requires effort, which means that you actually are blocking what you want. We can also replace the word problem with activation of improvement. This is how our higher self would see it, bright and positive as our higher self is. So only our lower selves will call it a problem. So try to consciously recognize when you have a problem and replace the feeling with trust, because you know that the problem or a problem means activation of improvement. Shortly, step 1, the negative coin is activated, and thus also the positive side of the coin. The negative side of the coin. So the negative side of the coin is activated, and thus also the positive side of the coin in step 1. You have sent a wish out vibrantly. Step 2. You leave the solution of your problems to nature, God. Step 3. You go into a receptive mode where you can receive the information about the steps you need to take in the moment from the higher intelligence I choose to call nature, as we know it in all its manifold beauty. You do this by being in meditation as well, or in a meditational state, as well as being in states where you appreciate things in your life. If there's something you do not appreciate, drop, focus on this. Where attention goes, energy flows. About positive and negative people. When you are positive, you are open and centered in your essence. Your essence here is equal to what I call your higher self. Your higher self is always confident and never doubtful and negative. Your higher self sees the light in others, for your higher self is light. So when you focus on the negativity of others, it does not say much important about them, but something about where you are in the mood, and thus, or in your mood, and thus vibrationally. So when you hear yourself or others say, people are just so negative, what does it mean? Well, probably something about your state, or probably it says something about your state or former state. Today, I got to know something from someone I work with voluntarily in heartfulness meditation in Denmark. She said, you probably only meet happy people because you are always bursting with joy and energy. That was her words. And then she said, you probably experience so many fun things. She's right. And why do I experience so many fun things? Because I'm actually trying to live the way I speak, simple rules of living, wise people have led me through my life. Thus I can say it seems to change focus to things that work in your life. It works to change focus to the things that work in your life. It works to follow your heart, to be authentic and confident, and also be happy about who you are. Love who you are. And, and the good things and good results that you get. I like to blow the little things up in full appreciation of them. The opposite of what the Danes in little small Denmark have learned via the gender law. You must not believe you are anything. Yes, you should. Only through this will you move on. You have to believe it to be able to see it, not the other way around. When you think or see the following about others, you are my friend, a stranger, my partner, my mother or my brother. I judge you as being negative, and I may even say that you are ruining my life because you are in my life and are negative. But I say, what is it in you that I use as my personal excuse to not use my own power to tune into who I really am? What is it in the other person that you take as your excuse to not be your authentic, positive self, honestly? Instead of calibrating my frequency, I let you, the other person in front of you, be responsible for my day now being bad. Calibrating your frequency means that you make sure to focus on something that gives you the desired energy of vibration. After all, most people would rather be happy, confident, and loved. And that is something we ourselves are responsible for through our focus. You project onto others, the others, that it is they who are negative when you tell about someone, and that because of their negativity, your life is deteriorating. For who I really am, my essence and core, would not be influenced by someone negative. And actually thus never make such a claim. In the sense of their silence, the hurricane has told us that. And your silence and your inner silence and joy will actually work as a heater next to the other people on a cold day. So, what is it that I am focused on in you that I use as my negative excuse to tune into who I really am? It is true empowerment to understand that you choose for yourself whether you want to feel good. If you say to that person, your negativity makes me feel drained, you are powerless. But if you say, what is it that I see in you that separates me from my core? For I do not see you as my higher self or nature or source would see you. I could easily see other things because you are my multidimensional being. You are a multidimensional being just like myself. It is my vibrational focus that determines what I see. That's the most important sentence. Remember, it is your vibrational focus that determines what you see. So, keep in mind you can use your thoughts and your mind to feel good at any time. You do not need the external manifestation first. And the funny thing is, the outer manifestation only comes when you tune in to its corresponding vibration inside. I.e., before something happens, you already have the feeling of joy inside of you. In the old paradigm, you thought you had to see it before you could believe it. Now we find out that you have to believe it in order to see it. In the end, the important thing ends up being your condition. And you become independent of the outward manifestation. It is true empowerment and freedom to have understood this and live it. Thank you. Det er for alle. Eso es para todos. This is for all. Be authentic. Follow your heart. I don't know if you can see it, but this is what it says. Trust the process. Where attention goes, energy flows. You know what to do. Feel satisfaction, feel satisfaction. Føl tilfredsstillelse, føl tilfredsstillelse. Siente satisfaction. Når du er færdig med den rapport, så kan du gå til astrologirapporten, som også er på denne kanal. Vi ses. Du følger bare linket. In the background. Once you're done with this, you can go to the astrology report. Find it on the channel.
There is this angel saying, I'm gonna find my way back home. The secret is love, he said. You got to lift yourself up, try again. One day you will break through. What you long for will find you.
Don't follow trends, follow your heart.